Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Jen Bjarnson. I wanted to talk about the stories that we tell ourselves because we all tell ourselves different stories. And they're not that different from everybody. I mean, everybody kind of tells the same stories to themselves. But the interesting thing is that we all interpret them in the same way. And not only do those stories that we tell ourselves, we wholeheartedly believe them, mainly because they started in our childhood some way, somehow. And then because they felt so real, they felt so true, we kept those to adulthood. And in childhood, it's very likely they did serve us, very likely. But in adulthood, they don't serve us. They're not helpful. And so, one of the stories that we can tell ourselves, and I even like to call them lies, because the reality is they are lies. In childhood, did they protect us? Maybe. Did they keep us safe? It's very possible. But at the same time, in adulthood, they're not helping us. So, what I wanted to talk about, the stories that we hold on to today are the stories about our health, the stories about our physical, who we are physically. And that could be weight, that could be an actual ailment, but we hold on to these stories, and it really does affect us in so many ways in our actual physical health. And so many people don't recognize that the things that we're telling ourselves affect us physically. If you look into the majority of self-help, they'll talk about, yeah, they talk about mindset, but a good portion of them talk about diet and exercise, diet and exercise. Everything's about diet and exercise. If you want to change something, you got to work on your gut. You got to fix your diet. You got to work out more. And I'm here to challenge it a little bit. I know that is important. And I know that going into the new year, everybody's really excited about getting to the gym and starting a new diet. I understand that. However, I'm talking from personal experience that a good majority of my life was I was working not so much with not with weight, but so much more of actual health problems. And every time I would look something up, they would talk about diet and exercise, diet and exercise. What diet are you on? What exercise program are you on? And if oh, you did this one, oh well, you should have been doing this. Oh, you're walking. Oh, well, you should be running. Oh, you're running. Oh, you should be doing Pilates. And it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting to the majority of us. And so one of the things I'm here to challenge just a little bit, not to say that those aren't important, but just to challenge a little bit that the way that we think and the stories that we tell ourselves and the mindset that we have towards health, especially going into the new year right now. Everybody's focused on getting to the gym and everybody's focused on a new diet. And one of the things I want to challenge just a little bit is to look at the stories, look at the mindset, look at the things that we're saying to ourselves and see if that has an effect on the things that we're doing physically. So one of the things that happens a lot is we say things like, well, this is the way my family is. And the interesting thing is that doesn't have to be true. Have you ever seen somebody who like doesn't fit their family, right? Like who like they you're looking at them and the family's one way and then they're another way and you're going, that's kind of an interesting scenario. And typically is what that is somebody has a different mindset. They have a different belief. They believe to be different from the family. And the other thing is that I want to challenge if anybody I get, like I totally get that if you have grown up in a certain lifestyle and you've grown up with certain beliefs and you've grown up with certain ways of being, it feels so true. It feels so accurate, especially if the entire family, if everybody in your circle is a certain way and everybody's saying the same thing. However, what I want to challenge is to say, has anybody in your situation ever gotten out of it? Ever? And I mean, look on the internet, look on social media, look in your town, look around. Has anybody ever gotten out of the situation that you're in? Has anybody healed from the disease or the thing that you're struggling with? Have they? If that's the case, then you can too. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. There's no reason. If somebody else has done it, there's no reason why you couldn't go down that path, because that person saying that they've done it is now proof that you have a chance, that you have a roadmap, you have something to follow. And so many times we get stuck in our head these stories of, well, my family was this way, or you don't understand the way I grew up. Or one of my favorites is, because I'm dealing with it personally right now, is I am 40, I'm over 40. And I cannot tell you the amount of people who have told me, "Oh, just wait till you get older. Oh, it's awful. Your back goes out, your knees go out." I feel better in my 40s than I ever did in my 20s. I feel better physically. I wake up feeling amazing. And I do not do insane exercises. I am not on an insane diet. And so the idea that we have to get older and it has to suck is totally in our mind. It's not a thing. If you and then to say, well, oh, you've got good genetics. If you saw the rest of my family, you would not think that. And the majority of the time, they look at me and go, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what's wrong with me?" And they're like, "Well, this isn't happening to you. This isn't happening to you." They're on about 5 different medications, and I'm not. And this is not to brag. It may sound like I'm bragging. I'm not bragging. The point is it's possible. If you looked at my genetics, if you looked at my family, I do not fit the mold. If you looked at weight and health, everything, I'm not the same. And you could sit there and say, "Oh, well, you're different." No, I'm not different. The only difference is I got active in the way I was thinking about things. One of the things that was told to me is when I hit a certain age, and I don't even remember what age this was. I want to say like 30, right? When you hit 30, forget about bread, forget about sugar, you'll put on weight. And you know what was interesting? There was a certain point of time in my life when I started thinking that way. I started thinking, I'm a certain age. I should probably be wary of like this bread and the sugar and dairy and all this stuff that everybody was starting to tell me, all this stuff, right? And the interesting thing was that I actually started kind of putting, like, it started affecting me. It actually started affecting my weight, my health. And then I kind of got back to my senses, and I thought, no, I get to decide. And maybe this is a brand new concept, but I'm like, I get to decide that how I feel. I get to decide that. And you know what? I felt better in my 30s than I did in my 20s. I felt better in my 40s than I did my 30s and my 20s. Like, I get to decide that. I get to decide. And the interesting thing is, I can't tell you how many people now, I feel great. Not on any medications. There is so many things that I feel so much better than in my 20s. In my 20s, I was starting to have fibromyalgia. I had the insane amount of diagnoses for mental health, ADHD, bipolar, anxiety, depression. It felt like every time I went back to the doctor, there was a new medication, there was a new diagnosis, and it was like, oh my gosh, oh, you're not dealing with this, and this. You're dealing with this, and let's add something onto it. And it was like, I can't do this anymore. This is craziness. And I started going down this rabbit hole of, I did start with diet and exercise. I did. And it didn't work for me. And you know what? If diet and exercise works for you, that's amazing. I'm so happy. That's awesome. If that has changed your life, so awesome for you. That did not work for me. It just didn't. When I started switching the stories in my head, and the stories were, my family's messed up, I'm messed up. There's something wrong in my head. There's always going to be something wrong in my head. I feel like crap. I'm always going to feel like crap. Well, life sucks and then you die. That's literally stuff we would say to each other. And you know what? A good majority of the people I know say that. They say that. And if that's you, I get it. There's a starting point. There is a starting point. And it's not to say, look at me, this is amazing. Look at me, I figured it out. No, no, it's saying there is a chance. If this is at all something that you can work through, that you are interested, you don't want to live this way anymore. You don't want to feel this way. You don't want to wake up with your back hurting. You don't want your knees hurting. You don't want things affecting you. You want to have more motivation. Then figure it out. Go for it, because there is so many people online, everywhere, social media, showing you that we don't have to believe in these things. Like another one, what I love is the amount of people who like, my eyesight's getting bad. No, my eyesight's getting better. I actually used to wear glasses. I used to wear glasses. I had full contacts. I used to wear glasses. I don't wear them anymore. I don't need them anymore. I don't know that it's exactly 2020, but I don't need glasses anymore. And in fact, they're really blurry if I put them on or if I put my contacts in. Like I can't anymore. And so this idea that we have to age, we have to, like, dairy and gluten has to affect us. It's just, it's not, it's not real. It's just not real. And I get it. I get it that if that's been your story, it's really, really hard to change that. It really is. And I get it. And I have so much love and support when you're trying to fight against that, because I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a situation. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't get what I'm going through. And now when people tell that to me, they're like, you don't get it. You don't understand. I'm like, I know. I so know. You don't get that I have this. I have anxiety. I'm like, I know. I get it. I do. It may not be the same thing, but I do get it. And so I just want you to challenge. I want you to challenge those thoughts, those stories, the things that you're saying to yourself. Just challenge them. And if you're ready and you really are ready to challenge those things, and you're going, okay, because I've been sitting here ranting, right, about like, change the story. And you're going, that's awesome. How do you want me to do it? How do you, okay. I don't believe these stories. How do you want me to do this? All right, here we go. The biggest thing that I did for changing my story, and the fastest thing, because it can be really, really hard. It can be. And this is the easiest and the fastest way that I ever found to do it. And that was hypnotherapy. And I know it's not very common in the United States. It's a little bit harder to, like, where do you find that, right? Who do you find that does that? So is what I did is I made a Patreon account, and you can go and there's a ton of recordings, anxiety, focus, so many different things. And you can start changing these stories. And they're mini sessions. They're little tiny things. They're like between 15 and 20 minutes, so that you feel like you have control to start to change what's going on in your mind. So, and if you want to try it, if I get it, this may sound a little like, I've never done that before. What is this? How does that even work? I have a YouTube channel and a podcast, either one. And you can go to those, and there are two. I think there's like one or two. I believe there's two. And you can try them totally for free. And it'll give you a feel, and it will help you to start challenging those stories physically in your mindset, to get all that out, that it's not true. Did it help you in your childhood? Absolutely. Did it keep you safe? 100%. Was it needed? Probably. And was it true as a child, right? Was it true when you were looking around and your entire family is behaving and acting the same and a certain way? Absolutely. That was true. All right. Love you guys. I really just want to challenge you. If you guys have any questions, or hit me up on all the social medias, basic to bold.